All right, this is recording 879. The name of this podcast is Listen Next 879. Okay, so you can find me at speakingtothecia.com or christinastation918.com. You can find my podcast on Spotify. Just look up Speaking to the CIA podcast. Okay, so 800 and what am I in? 879 in plus the original 15. I'm almost at 900 podcasts. Solving crime that Gene Roberts has committed. And that's just with my podcast. I'm doing everything I can. She needs to be arrested. Okay, so that's not counting all of my decode books. That's not counting all of my decode on my Pinterest. You can find me on Pinterest, Christina Station 918. I'm just sitting there. I'm like 900 podcasts. That's insane. Okay, so let's continue here. Okay, so there was a crowded beach attack in Ukraine, and it happened right as I was decoding crime that she had committed. I just got done making a report on crime that she committed, and she turned around and committed another attack. And that is the attack that she committed, and you can tell that she committed it by the initial CMB. Okay, and something about Leguizamo. I think he was on TV, or they had a lookalike of him on TV, but I don't remember what it is about him. I don't remember anything. I don't know why I had him wrote down. Okay, so another thing I wanted to point out is, okay, so the Mockingbird. Okay, so all the little birds on Jaybird Street go rockin' to the Rockin' Robin, tweet tweet. Okay, that goes to my grade school years when I was in grade school. It starts there. Okay, and it was a hand clapping game that I used to play in grade school. Like I was in second, third grade. I would play. We would sing that song, and they would take four of us, and we would do a whole hand clapping game till we did it at recess. Okay, and it was a very big deal. Like we were like the it was a big deal to be able to know how to do this with of the girls. So anyway, it is evidence, contributing evidence among a whole bunch of evidence that Gene Roberts wanted to use in working with another occult, Synanon. She wanted to use there's so much decode and so much cipher decode I've done, it's insane. She wanted to use a whole alcoholics and drugs theme, okay? And so she pre-planned to do this before I was even born, okay? Which, in the early 70s when I was in grade school, the Iran-Contra hostage crisis happens in 1979, and then Oliver North, which I decoded Oliver North too. So all of that is constructs and parts of this. This is all Gene Roberts and her Manson occult's doing. It's all drug and alcohol theme, okay? And it's all roll out to the future, which is now present day to the end. Okay, so anyway, that is in the Alcoholics Anonymous book. There is a phrase about jaywalking. Somebody's telling a story about jaywalking, and every time I read it, I go back to 6th grade, because that's what it looks like in the description. It's reminding me of my 6th grade year when I was in 6th grade, when I was jaywalking at Hartford Elementary, and I was afraid. I was like, am I gonna get arrested for jaywalking? So anyway, so it's a significant memory. It's supposed to match up to the Alcoholics Anonymous. So when I go to Alcoholics Anonymous, because you guys know I'm 4.5 years clean, from drugs and alcohol. Okay, which, you know, that's a part of all this too. I know, it's insane, and she thinks she'll get away with it because what is the one thing you're supposed to be doing when you're in recovery is supposed to be all about accountability. But as I read, there's no but, there is accountability. Accountability is you also need to make sure that you are safe, okay? So if I have bad people attacking the city that I live in, and I know them, I'm going to turn them in. Okay, so this is a big part of a big terror plot. It's not just a me personal thing. It's just that I'm her sacrifice. Okay, so I'm her point of interest. Everything pivots off of me. Everything pivots off of her. She is the goddess that everybody's been waiting for, and poor Jean, and oh my God. And I'm the Antichrist, when it's actually the opposite. The crimes that Jean has committed, Jean is the Antichrist, and I'm just a regular person. I'm just a regular person trying to tell on someone that committed stolen valor in the Navy who is a terrorist and a child trafficker. So anyway, so the J goes to a lot, okay? So then later on, when we lived in Bartlesville, this was in the 90s, we moved and we live on Mockingbird. And I look back and I go, oh my God, she's fixed my addresses too. Every one of my addresses is fixed. Our address is 106 Mockingbird, which is the Alice in Wonderland. And it's also my oldest son's birthday. I told you she is stalking me all my life. My birthdays, my children's birthdays, everything is fixed. Okay? We're her little... But my boys will kill me. Even Jean trying to control my speech right now, all my boys will kill me. They already know that I've turned Jean in for using artificial intelligence. It's 2026. It is not hard to believe AI is everywhere. And that's another thing Jean was depending on. No one's going to believe Christina because it's just too unheard of. It's too massive. We commit so much crime, we'll get away with all of it. There's too much. It's too much. It's too massive. We'll get away with everything. Just commit more crime and you'll always get away with it. No, you're going to jail, Jean. So anyway, she stalked me all of my life, okay? So anyway, it was making me think of Jay-Z. Okay, and then, oh wait, let me back up. Okay, I decoded Jay-Z and Beyonce as kids being stalked by Gene Roberts and her Manson occult / KKK. I couldn't believe it. I decoded so much for so many celebrities. I'm like, do you realize that she has been stalking you your entire life? And then all I get back is Gene Roberts and her Manson occult / KKK telling me that they've blamed it on everybody else. And that they've told me that they've blamed it on everybody else, which is false. They're lying. I mean, no, they did try to blame it on everybody else, but they are the one, Gene Roberts and her Manson occult / KKK are the ones doing the stalking with AI, with ICE, stolen artificial intelligence. And on the gang stalking, I don't know how you put it, stalking, like what Princess Diana suffered from. Serial stalking, and she took Princess Diana's life too. I decoded it. Anyway, so back in my childhood, okay, when I got a little bit older, when we moved to Chandler, I was in junior high. Okay, we lived on J, one of the streets. We lived on Colt off of Pennington, and then we lived on J, which is Alma School in Warner, okay? Now, there's J again. Now, what number is J? A, B, C, D, E. E is 5. F, G, H, I, J. J is number 10. 10 is what? It's X. So what is she saying in her pre-plotting and scheming? Abusing me, stalking me all of my life? My friends, my family, everybody? X marks the spot. And I decoded the triangle that she pre-planned before we moved to J Street. It's horrible. It's called The Last Supper. It's horrible. All this pre-planning, and then she assaults me. Okay, I'm just a little bit older. And then I find out she planned to assault me before I was born. Then I find out she assaulted me when I was 2 months old. This time hands-on with a pencil. And 4 months old with a wooden spoon. But then later on she uses ice on me to assault me. I'm still a kid. She assaults me with the ice, but she thinks she gets away with it because it looks like it's hands-free. Nobody knows that she's doing it, but I do. I decoded it. Remember I told you she gave herself a pimpstress name? But I can't remember the name. I can't remember her name now. She got so many aliases, and this is the one name I can't remember. I guess you'll see it on my paper of decoding J Street, and she literally has given herself a pimpstress name, and she's bragging about trafficking kids. And there's been arguments and fights in my head between her and different people in intelligence, and I don't know what there should be no argument or fight, but they've literally chewed her ass out. Like, why are you lying? Why are you lying? Everybody knows that you stalked Christina. Everybody knows that you assaulted Christina. Everybody knows that you assaulted her friends and you've stalked her friends. You pretend to be Christina and you're Christina's dad's girlfriend. You're freaking pathetic. Like, why do you keep doing this? You're tricking people into stalking her also. Like, what? Why are you doing this? You are deranged. You think people are going to suddenly go, oh, that's okay that we've got criminals that have their hands on stolen artificial intelligence. We don't care if they rob us, rape our fucking kids, or anything else. And see how they put an F word in my sentence? That tells you the criminals are icing my speech. Just do what you want. Just do what you want. The United States is all yours. And Jean does think it's hers. She's Mrs. Navy, even though nobody knows she committed stolen valor. Yeah, I made sure everybody knows. And they've already confirmed it. I mean, I'm not lying. I decoded it. I know she committed stolen valor. She thought it was funny until she didn't get away with it. And she literally tricks people into feeling sorry for her. She is a child abuser. She is a child trafficker. Now, in the assault of me, she pre-planned to assault me before I was born, okay? And she pre-planned to do the World Trade Center attack before I was born. And then what she pre-planned to do, and then her killing Stephen Parent came in the late 60s. So, I mean, even back that far to the late 60s, okay? So she pre-planned to do the World Trade Center attack, frame world governments, frame the United States military, get away with it, and try to blame me. Because nobody would know that she abused me hands-on, because she'd make sure nobody'd ever find out. She would just lie. And then she also abused me with AI when I was a kid. She's abused me with AI all my life. But she abused me with AI when I was a kid. And then she thinks nobody knows that. So she can turn it around to whatever she wants. And then she'll blame the World Trade Center attack on me. And you're the one that did the World Trade Center attack. You literally iced the pilots. This is the funny thing. She also iced the pilots. She used AI on the pilots. But she is just the most doted, just loved American of all time. Miss Jean Jernigan Roberts. She didn't do anything. She'll literally admit to people in my brain, depending on who's on, that she did the World Trade Center attack. She crashed all the planes. She crashed every single one of the planes. She will only admit to crashing Tower 1 in my brain. You did the World Trade Center attack and you abused kids as a flim-flam sham excuse for doing the World Trade Center attack to do what? To get money out of people, to run your freaking traffic light, freaking dumbassery, to make even more money doing the same damn thing, trafficking fucking kids. I'm sorry, she's putting efforts in my sentences. Trafficking children, selling lies, trafficking children, abusing kids, making money, and committing even more terrorism, and blaming everybody else. And then acting like you're saving kids when you are a child abuser. You shouldn't be in any position, even if you don't know this about Jean, which I've turned her in for this, but even if you don't know this about Jean, if you're running any kind of Save the Kid campaign, anywhere, anything, no more starving children. Let's all put denim on kids. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Why can't people just wear denim because they love denim? Why does it have to be to stand for Jean's name? I'm sure everybody wants their children wearing Jean's name, knowing that Jean is an abuser and did the World Trade Center attack. So she wants to be like the mother of all children. You know, you remember I told you, I decoded where she even blasphemized the Bible and said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I will be. She blasphemized playing God. You're just gonna abuse kids? Sell them? Make money? Commit more terrorism? And you literally committed the World Trade Center attack. You personally. So if somebody is being accused of that, and I don't just accuse her, I press actual charges against her and I provided evidence. I gave all kinds of evidence, which is what I continually do on my podcast. So why would that person still be allowed to run any sort of campaign whatsoever if they're being accused of such an atrocity? I mean, as anybody sucked into any of this, like, why would you even want to, like, get near any of Jean's Save the Kid activity? Jean is a criminal. She is a liar. She is a terrorist. Anyway, so the X marks the spot, okay? So anyway, so then that made me think of, so I told you, she pre-planned this, and that goes to after the Last Supper. I probably the Last Supper, and then the X is a cross. And then, because she keeps saying in my brain, she's even made the insides of my hands sting and my feet sting. Like, she's saying that I'm innocent and that she's guilty and she's going to get away with it. She is so evil. She does this in my brain all the time. But anyway, so she's probably using the X as a cross, and then that probably goes to the Last Supper, which the Last Supper occurs, like, this is a cipher that I decoded of hers. It occurs before we lived on J Street. Okay, so anyway, all right, so then that made me think of course, it makes me think of Jay-Z and Beyonce. Who's the most famous Jay? The 2 most famous Jays we know are Run DMC, Jam Master Jay, and Jay-Z. Okay, and that's cool. Like, their names are everybody loves their names. That doesn't mean their names have anything to do with this. okay? But Jean ices celebrities, Jean ices everyone, so everybody feels like they're waking up to new presence of Jean's world, and just do what Jean says and she'll just give you what you want. And she literally tries to force people to comply with her. And like, you feel robbed. Like, I know I'm sitting here telling you that she assaulted me when I was little, and I'm telling you she's stalking me, but I mean, I know celebrities have to feel the same way just in the fact of what Jean has been pulling these past 60 years. You're living your life. You're like going to school. I don't know, you're going to music school. I don't know how you become a rock star. You're going and doing your thing, working your butt off to get famous, even in Hollywood to be an actor and actress, or a politician working your way into the White House, just doing your thing in life. All the effort, blood, sweat, and tears, and then you find out that Jean has been using artificial intelligence ice wanding you and controlling your entire life from birth, and you feel like everything about you feels robbed. You feel totally accosted. And you're like, well, how do you even report this? How do you even say anything? Because it sounds crazy, but you feel totally accosted. It's insane. And she just wants people to go along with it. She's like, just get over it. Here's another thing I did for you. No, you didn't. You're trying to ruin that celebrity's legacy of what that celebrity's contribution is, or that politician, or that actor, or actress, or director, or whatever. You're trying to ruin that contribution, their contribution to life. You're trying to ruin their greatness by trying to say that it's all about you. I mean, you're insane. Your Manson/KKK occult is insane. And if you go at her, she'll blame someone else. It's always someone else's fault. So anyway, so then I'm like, I'm just like in La La world, thinking about Beyonce and Jay-Z. And then I'm like, the Z is 26. And so I'm like, let me see what 26 is. I'm like, let me go to 26. So this doesn't have anything to do with Jay-Z. I was just thinking of, because I was in my process thinking of J Street. And then I'm like, oh, Z is 26. And I'm like, but that shows more that she is stalking Jay-Z also, because unless it's Jam Master Jay, and it's probably in the Jam Master Jay, when I decoded Beyonce and Jay-Z, I don't know the time and place and location where they were. It was in the very early 70s, and it's when we lived in Tucson, or first lived to Globe, is when the date timestamp is. No, it was a little bit old. It was a little bit older, because she pre-planned, because I decoded a bunch of artists around that time. She pre-planned their first loves. She pre-planned them as first love, or pre-planning their first love or something. It had something to do with that. And I'm like, oh my God. And I never said anything, because I'm like, I don't want Beyonce and Jay-Z to kill me. But I mean, Beyonce and Jay-Z, if they don't have a way to say it themselves, I mean, I'm a fan of theirs. Just like hundreds of thousands of people love them. That should make you angry that somebody is stalking them. You should stop helping Jean Jernigan Roberts and her Manson occult /KKK. You should be protective of the artists you love, not throw them to Jean Roberts. Anyway, but like, I need to tell you that, because you probably let me know that, because I already know that instinctually. But you probably let me know that because you know that instinctually, and you may not have the way to say that either, and you may want that said also. Because if you're wealthy or powerful, you can't just say what you want. You're very, very, very controlled by your PR people. So anyway, okay, so Z is 26, okay? So then there's X, and then there's Z, so X, Y, Z. So then there's Y, okay? So, okay, now, hang on a second. So 26, so you put the 26 is 128. All right. So you put a parentheses around the 1, you put a parentheses around the 8, and then 11 comes out of that. And then 127, and then you put parentheses around the 1, and then you have 2, and then you put parentheses around the 7. Okay, so this is, I'm decoding a cipher here. I'm showing you this. So also in this is W, okay? So it's W, so I'm seeing the letters W, X, Y, Z. Okay, so war is in this, okay? And then AI is in this. And also, remember in my previous podcast where I was talking about the Utrecht, what Jean did in history, and then what she did to me. She assaulted me at 2 months old. You see what she did there? Okay, I want to also let you know that connects to Third Reich. Okay, and Third Reich connects to my 3rd grade year at East Globe, which is around the time frame of when I had the implant put in me. I was like 6, 7, or 8 years old. I didn't have it put in. She made a dirty deal with the doctors. She really did this. All it takes is one X-ray. Anyway, so also I wanted to point out something else that she did. Okay, so you know how she uses the World Trade Center towers as different objects? Like I told you, like the thing on the telephone base, the little clear thing. She also uses it as lungs. There's different things that she uses the World Trade Center as. Like she pictorializes it and it becomes symbols. Okay, so something else she did was, those are 2 matchsticks. Okay, now I'm pointing this out to you. I would not say this because it's extra, okay? Because just if you realize that in your brain, oh my God, she used matchsticks, you're like, oh my God, it makes you want to puke, okay? I'm letting you know this because I want to point out what she also did. She needs to be arrested. Remember I told you she assaulted me at 2 months old with a pencil. And then later on, she put something in me using the doctors, implanted me between 6 and 8 years old. Remember I told you I felt like I was on fire? I was being restrained and I felt like I was on fire and I was screaming bloody murder. And I've told you that I've got like PTSD when it comes to anything that has to do with catheter. And it's been that way all of my life. All of my life. Ever since from when I was little, between the ages of 6 and 8 years old. Because that's when, at the point, she put something in me. And it hurt so bad. I was screaming, and my mom didn't know what was going on. My mom had no idea. She was just like, my daughter's having a cow. And I was screaming bloody murder. They had to hold me down. Anyway, and she wasn't in there. She was in the waiting room. Okay, so the 2 matchsticks. So this goes to this. So if you look at the base of a matchstick, notice the part that you hold is the same as looking as the wood. It's paper. Well, it's the same as pencil. Okay, and then the fire. Okay, and then the fire is yellow, and then that would be yellow of the pencil. So she's combining these different assaults together into one, and it's all in pre-planning to do the World Trade Center attack. And using my body, which she's used all my life, as like a living sacrifice. I've got all kinds of wounds on me that I've decoded. My birthmarks, everything. Until she actually tries to kill me, which, like, I've turned her in for. You're not going to do that. So, anyway, I wanted to point that out. Okay, so moving forward, so something else that I decoded today. So I decoded this just now. So, There is a metal called 106. It's SA 106, and it has different grades. It's got 106 A, B, C, D, E, I think, or I think it's A, B, C, D, E. So so I'm like, there's a metal, and I know that in history metal has been used, okay? And I know because I've decoded all the way back to Genesis how important iron is and everything else, and undergrounds and the torture undergrounds, and then a lot of that still goes on. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that goes. So I decoded all this. So it goes all the way back into history. So like, metal is very, very important. And remember, I told you she did the World Trade Center attack, and she tried to blame and frame heavy metal artists, okay? Like, she encoded their names and everything, and I'm like, this is stupid. They did not do this. This is stupid. And you just have to go through you're gonna have to go through my whole podcast. She did the same thing to rappers. She was taking advantage of capitalizing on the war between, which that could have been like Lion Spray, the war between, or the beginning wars between heavy metal and rap back in the 80s when rap was first coming on the scene. Okay, so anyway, so I was reading about the metal, and it's carbon steel, and carbon steel is the same, and I've decoded carbon many times before. So carbon steel is the same initials as my initials, Christina Stacia. So I'm like, and then that goes to C.S. Lewis, and then that goes to Alice in Wonderland, and then the 10-6 goes to Alice in Wonderland. So then there's the 106 metal, the 106 that tells you how old, how historic this is. This goes back all the way back to the beginning of time. Okay, so anyway, this type of metal is nominal, Nominal. Okay, so I'm looking at the word nominal. I'm like, wow. I'm looking at it and I see my name in there. Okay, because remember, I told you she pre-planned to sacrifice me before I was born. She's a leader of Charles Manson / KKK. Okay, she is a satanic white supremacist occult, and I know there's all kinds of people that are in Charles Manson. I'm talking about, because they get kind of like, well, she probably went around trying to get people upset. You're getting upset at me is not, you should be going and finding out what's going on and turning people in is what you should be doing. Because the minute I go and say, well, this is that, and this is this, and this and that, she'll swoop in, and all her little nasty friends in her Manson occult, she'll start protecting them and telling lies about them, and she'll act like I'm like her, and she's me, and act like no. I just say Charles Manson. She is leader Charles Manson. If you were in Charles Manson and you're not in it anymore, or if you were in it and you weren't a part of any of this, you need to be talking to law enforcement, who you need to be talking to, and not be getting upset by any of Gene Roberts' manipulation of the heartstrings tactics. You gotta be smarter than that. So anyway, okay, so I'm looking at this, and then my name is in this, and then my nickname is in this, Nina. So I know this is significant. And then look at the center of the word. It says omen. Okay, so I'm like, okay, this is important. This is really important. So then I'm studying this, and I'm like seeing at the beginning of the word nominal, I'm seeing that that's Genesis, okay? And then I'm seeing Exodus. The next book is Exodus, and I see that's the O. So the Genesis goes to the N, and the Exodus goes to the O. And I'm like, what is the third book of the Bible? And I'm like, let me go see. So I go see what the third book of the Bible is. It's Leviticus. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go back to nominal. There's Leviticus right there. And then I'm like, the L would be, or should be, like over there. It is over there. I just got to figure out what the cipher is. But nonetheless, the L is still there. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, what is the next book after Leviticus? I know, I told you guys, I'm decoding an entire terror plot of hers that goes all the way back to Genesis, okay? You have to go through my whole podcast. So anyway, so what is the next book after Leviticus? I couldn't believe it. Even that, look, it's reversed. Numbers. Numbers is the fourth book, and then the word nominal starts with N. And then you've got numbers in here. So, and you can see that's reversed. Leviticus is the third book, but yet it's the last letter. And Numbers is the fourth book, but yet it's the first letter. When really, if you put it in 3, it would be Lamanon or something. Oh my gosh, I bet that goes to Lebanon. Oh my gosh. So anyway, so there's even more. So nominal also means in a negative way. The word nominal is not negative. It doesn't have a negative connotation. And it's got 2 different meanings, okay? One of the meanings is a small value compared to inside a greater value. So it's like a piece of gold within 100 pieces of gold. It's like what you know what nominal is. Okay, but it also means something else, which I'm going to tell you in a little bit. Okay, and then pittance also goes to it. Okay, because I was trying to remember the word nominal when I got home so I could go finish decoding this. And I'm like, what is the word with this same definition? And then it said pittance. And I'm like, well, there you go, pittance. With the P-I-T. And I'm like, so that goes that, but pittance has a negative connotation. Like a poor me, like a pithy. And then even that, look, pithy, oh, what a pithy. Okay, so now I'm like, all right, so Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. So those are the first 4 books, okay? And then I'm like, what are the last 4 books? Because I know this goes from Genesis to Revelations. This goes from the beginning of time to the end of time. Gene Roberts is a terrorist, and I've told you before, like, and I'm not a minister, okay? I'm not a minister. I told you I can't even quit smoking cigarettes. I'm not a minister. I don't know anything about the Bible except what I decoded, what I've grown up with. Okay? I love God. I love Allah. I want my whole life to be totally different, in a totally different way, where I can be doing all kinds of things. And I can't because I'm continually attacked by really bad people who are the opposite of people who fear and love God. And will lie to you and claim they are those people, and they are not. They're white, satanic supremacists. But anyway, so I've got to be strong. Until she's arrested, I have to be strong. I have to get my life together personally, and I have to continue to turn her in. Okay, and I have to work all lanes at one time to make sure that there is a future and a safe future for my children and my grandchildren and everybody else, because I can't see and she's committing terror attacks. And then she's trying to get people to feel sorry for her like she's the cop of the planet. Now she's acting like she's Mrs. Interpol. I mean, she needs to be apprehended. And then, by me making reports against her, she turns around and does that devil's mirror thing, her little tactic, and then she tries to say that about me. Because I'm telling on her. I wouldn't be telling on you if you weren't doing that. You see how that works? You dumbass. I want to cuss her out, but they stopped me from cussing. I wanted to call her an idiot. You stupid idiot. You are committing the crimes, it's called cause and effect. You're committing the crime, and it's affecting me personally, okay? And it's affecting the city I live in. It's affecting my nation, and you are from Milton, Florida, Gene. You are white. You are Caucasian. You are white Satanist supremacist. You constantly blame everybody else. It's everybody else's fault. And I told you, I'm not that kind of person where I fall for those antics anymore. I was that kind of person. I was just a regular, everyday American. But since I've been decoding for the past 10 years, I'm not a regular, everyday American. I don't sit there and know that you're committing crime and endangering people and taking people's lives and acting like the hero and not turn you in. I'm not going to sit there and witness you doing that. More or less sit back and let you stalk me or my family. So anyway, okay, so all right, so the first 4 books of the Bible, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. So I'm like, okay, what are the last 4 books of the Bible? Okay, let's go right to the end. I've decoded a lot out of the Holy Bible, okay? So Luke, John 3, Jude, and Revelations are the last 4 books of the Bible. So instantly, I see Jude. See, I didn't even know Jude was before Revelation, so I was decoding this evening, and I've decoded so much out of the Bible. I should have Bible books memorized by now. At least know everything in its place, and I don't know. All I know is what I decode and what I've grown up with. So Jude is a song from the Beatles. Hey Jude. And then Judah. So Luke, John 3, Jude, and Revelations, and this is the funny thing. I said, show me the last 4 books of the Bible. And it gave me 3 books, and it said John 3, and then it said Jude, and then it said Revelations. And I'm like, I'm literally asking you for the last 4 books of the Bible. Why are you only showing me 3 books? So then I had to go see before John 3, what comes before John 3, and it's the book of Luke. Okay, so anyway, so if you look at Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Luke, John 3, Jude, and Revelations, here's everything that comes out of it, okay, that I can see of Gene Roberts' ciphers, okay? So ciphers that I decoded of Hermanson Occult / KKK, blasphemizing the Holy Bible, and like I've told you before, where one picks up and one leaves off, I don't know. I can't. Sometimes I can figure that out and sometimes I can't. But from what I can see here, there's a whole lot of blasphemy going on. So she's like stepping on, like she steals from other people, okay? And then she steals what other people are doing, and then she acts like those people, like she's a chameleon. She acts like those people, and she mixes up a bunch of everything from a bunch of different people at one time. And then if you go at her, she'll blame all those people. So this is everything that's in it. Okay, so 11 is in it, 9/11 is in it, and then 12 apostles. And then if you take 12 apostles, if you take 12 minus John 3, that's 9, so then there's the 9/11. The word lineage is in it, the bell jar is in it, Gene's initials are in it, Gene Jernigan Roberts, JJR, John, Jude, Revelations. Okay, Illuminati is in it, Lamentation, I think that's a book of the Bible, but I cannot remember. Angel is in it. Okay, nominal, the only letter that's not used in what I'm decoding here is the letter M, and it's in the center. Okay, so Nineveh is in it. Okay, which that's what made me go to finding out what the books of the Bible were, because I know that the nominal goes to Nineveh. So Babylonian is in it. So BY is what you need out of there. Okay, and then BY, that also matches to Brigham Young University. Now Gene, who is a Satanist, poses as a Mormon. She claims her son is a Mormon, and she's a Mormon. And she's not really a Mormon. She's a liar. So Brigham Young University, that's a Mormon university. And I decoded her trying to frame Mormons in her planning to do the World Trade Center attack. That is right on my Pinterest. I'm like, my God, she tried to frame Mormons. Look what she did. Look what she did to Mormons in this. In planning to do the World Trade Center attack. Like, she attacks everybody, just like she attacks people in the Middle East. But if you ask her, she just loves them, and she'll just be the spanky slappy for everybody in the Middle East. No, Jean, do you know how many people you have killed? You did the World Trade Center attack. You pre-planned it. You executed it. Why aren't you in jail? Anyway, so also in this is "And the Band Played On." And you can also see Abbey Road is in this. Omen is in it. C.S. Carbon Steel. I already told you that. C.S. Lewis. Okay. My initials in it. My nickname is in it. My birth month is in it. November. I'm born November 13th, 1971. That's when I was born. Also, the word volume is in it, and then ships is in it, like a reference to ships, which is probably a reference to Noah, and then it's built on over time, because then it goes all the way up into the Titanic. Okay, volume, ships, and then water is in it, and then tower is in it, and then the phrase "in name only" is in it. And if you look at the word nominal, you can see it actually says "in name only" in letters rearranged. So that's the other definition of nominal, which is what she was going to try to do to me, trying to steal my identity. She was trying to steal my life and trying to steal my identity and trying to claim that a whole bunch of people are me and trying to silence me and shut me up. She wants to do her little devil plots, what she wants to do. No, you're not stealing my identity or my life, Jean. You're going to go to jail. So, anyway, so then when you're reading the "in name only," like, what is Jean saying with "in name only"? We know that she wants to steal Christina's life. She's been hard at it trying to steal Christina's life, and Christina has made the whole world very aware, which the world needed to be aware, because there are people overseas claiming that they're me. Jean has them overseas, and I'm like, are you stupid? Stop saying you're me. I'm not protecting you. I'm not protecting you. Stop saying you're me. She plans to sacrifice me. But I won't let her. But that's what her plan is. But if you're overseas, and she sends you overseas, and she says, just pretend to be Christina, we'll make this a whole thing. And somebody finds out overseas that you and your dang demonic occult from America did the World Trade Center attack, and you're over there hiding and you're claiming that you're me, do you think they're gonna move you into a castle and move you into the top floor? I mean, what do you think's gonna happen to you? Stop saying you're me. Stop stealing my name. Stop stealing my life. So anyway, so besides that, people are like, what is Jean also saying here? Jean Roberts is a Satanist. What is she saying here? She is trying to say what instantly ministers made me laugh. What made me laugh so hard? When ministers like, oh God, here we go. They're like, no. So she's gonna try to, with this word nominal, and you could tell she's had this plan for a while. She's gonna try to say that, and she does this to appease the different audiences, but she's a Satanist, okay? Satanists believe in God because they're in competition with God. They believe they are equal or superior to God. Atheists and agnostic don't believe in God. They think there's nothing, okay? So Jean pre-plans to use his in name only to state one of those events out of the Holy Bible, based on her blasphemy and creating this word. I know that's what she's going to do. And that's what ministers on people in my brain, when I was decoding, could see instantly. And they're like, oh my God, now she's going to go. She's going to go and she's going to go spread even more, because she's been doing that. And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, I'll put up a podcast and I'll call her butt out even before she gets started spreading lies. So this is my podcast. So anyway, so the states that I've lived in all of my life are in it. The word Mona Lisa is in it. Now, I've decoded the Mona Lisa, parts of the Mona Lisa. You're going to have to see my podcast on it. Chandler is in it. Gnome is in it. Globe is in it. Mesa is in it. Water Table is in it. Primordial is in it. Minutemen is in it. I've decoded some on Minutemen. You're going to want to see that too if you have access to it. If you don't have access to it, you don't yet. Aluminum is in it. America is in it. North America is in it. Canada is in it. Mexico is in it. The year 2100 is in it. Fleet is in it. Leak is in it. And then the phrase, somebody said in my brain, they're like, well, now we know where leet speak comes from. And they're like, oh my God. So leet speak, Leetspeak, also called 1337, is a modern, probably within the past 10 or 20 years. I don't know. I don't know how long it's been out, but where you use like letters and number exchanges to talk to, like you're creating them. You know how your passwords have to be all funky and stuff? Okay, that's leet speak, okay? So anyway, so 1337, so I'm like, I already decoded leet speak, and I already know she uses those ciphers. I already know all that. Or she uses those as ciphers too, and those letter exchanges that they use actually go to actual ciphers, really old ciphers that I also decoded. But anyway, so I'm like, I never went to go look up the year 1337. You know that means something. You know that's significant. So I went to go look up the year 1337. It started on a Wednesday, and Wednesday goes to America. Okay, so that's notable. And then in October, there was 100 Years' War. Okay, so in October, you're looking at the 10-6 references. So that's important. Okay, so remember, I told you she's doing stuff in 100-year cycles and 200-year cycles and decade cycles and there's cycles of everything, okay? So in November, my birth month was the Cadzand battle, Cadzand battle. Cadzand is, if you extend it out, is castles in the sand, which is probably also an Alice in Wonderland reference. Remember, they're on the shore, and it's a reference. The scholars say it's a reference to Jesus. I decoded it, and it is biblical. There's all kinds of references. There's all kinds of everything in there. Okay, and it's very, very painful. A lot of it, but I could see that was biblical too. Like, I agreed with whoever said it, because I already knew that myself by decoding it. But anyways, that probably goes to castles in the sand. So castles in the sand. So Belinda Carlisle, initials BC, besides the regular BC, but then you have BC before Christ, BC. Oh my gosh. So Belinda Carlisle is the lead singer of the group called the Go-Go's. And when I was little, in the 70s, one of the videos I used to watch on HBO all the time was Our Lips Are Sealed, in which I go back in time. I'm supposed to go back in time, and I'm supposed to look at the future and realize the future is silent war. And she had the silent war pre-planned even before she did the World Trade Center attack. So I'm like supposed to freak out when I realized all this. And I did freak out. I decoded that out of it, and I turned her in. So anyway, Belinda Carlisle ended up going solo. She went solo, and she came out with a song that was really popular called Circle in the Sand. Okay, which I know the circle in the sand goes to castles in the sand. Also, Ottoman expands to the Byzantine Empire. Okay, so Ottoman is important, so see all my podcasts on the Ottoman Empire. And then expanding into the Byzantine. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it. What's important there is the letter BY. Or look at the earlier part of the ciphers I just decoded minutes ago. So that's connected. So that's important. Also, the famine in China, which had lasted since 1332 and killed 6 million people, comes to an end. That is, oh my God. And what is one of Gene's fake causes today? Starvation. Famine. She wants to save the kids and she wants to save the starving kids. And if I was China, I'd be extremely... She knows what she's doing. She is diabolical. She is doing that intentionally. She is diabolical. Like, if I was China, I would be so pissed at the patronization. Like, who do you think you are? So anyway, also in this is Prince I'm not going to pronounce this right. Prince Narinaga. Okay, Japanese shogun, birth 1326. And then he died either 1337 or 1344. Okay, so she's using this. You see on my decode on blood orange. Okay, naranja is orange in Spanish. Okay, and she's also using Nicaragua in here. She's using the prince's name for Nicaragua, and then 1970, or see all the Iran hostage crisis, 1979. You probably want to do the math here. Okay, and then here's something else. So if you take my name is in this, okay? So I'm going to point out something else in my name here. I've decoded my name a million times, okay? So if you take my name, Christina Marie Stacia, and you look at the first two letters and last three letters, it spells China, okay? If you take my middle name, Marie, and you take the A-R-I, and then you add an N, there's Iran, okay? And then my last name, Stacia, S-T-A-T-I-A. If you take the Stacia, and you do the A-U, like you use a U instead of an A, Stacia, it's Russia, okay? So it's a mix between China, Iran, and Russia, and Kremlin is even in it. So Kremlin is inside Christina Marie, and then Lynn is inside, I can't remember how this fits in there. And then Lynn, I think Lynn fits in the, my Aunt Linda. So Linda fits in, Lynn fits in Station, and would go to also my Aunt Linda Stacia. So Kremlin is in there. And then that goes to Patricia Krimwinkel. Now, you know, I pressed charges against Jean for taking a lot of my family members' lives. She took my Aunt Linda's life. My Aunt Linda passed away from cancer, but that was not natural causes. That was Jean. She constantly uses my Aunt Linda in my brain. And my Aunt Terry. Jean Roberts does. Anyway, Patricia Krimwinkel is in this. Now, I already know Krimwinkel, and Krem goes to Kremlin, or Patricia Krimwinkel, and she's one of the top women in Charles Manson. And then something else, I couldn't figure this out. It flips. So China goes with my first name and Russia goes with my last name. But I was looking at the letters and I could see it flipped around somehow, where Russia became first and China became last. But then I went back to go see how that flipped around again, and I can't find it again, but somehow it flips. So it goes China, Russia, and then Russia, China. And then also the initials of Russia, China. What are the initials? RC, remote control. Artificial intelligence. So she is heavily messing with all countries, all nations, but Russia, China, Iran, all these nations, Israel, all nations. I've got my podcasts out. I make reports. I pay attention to the news. I can tell by what's happening in the news and the communication in the news that people do have my podcast. People do know what's going on. That, hopefully Jean Roberts and her Manson occult will be arrested. They're not just a little occult. Her Manson occult is thousands upon thousands of people, and they're hiding all over the world. Hundreds of thousands of people. This is a very, very, very big deal. So anyway, so you also have the combination of China and Russia, the phrase China and the word and Russia. Okay, so look at the initials of that, CAR. And then again, so that's CAR, China and Russia. And then who does Jean always also try to blame with their M game present day? She tries to blame, well, it's a continuation. She tries to blame the cartel. She says a bunch of lies, and then she says that the cartel is doing that. Oh, so the cartel is spreading lies for you to save your white supremacist ass and letting you get away with murder and trafficking of their people while you constantly incriminate them of murder and trafficking your people. So the cartel's just down with you, huh, Jean? Just keep on helping Ku Klux Klan. So that's not the case. Jean's full of crap. Jean's making it look like it's a cartel. It's not. And unfortunately, Spanish people have fallen for that, but pretty much they're wise to it now. So anyway, so the cartel, and that would go to, again, the 1979 Iran hostage crisis. And then here's another one. So China, if you put China, Russia together, after the last three letters in China and then the first letter in Russia, you're going to go to my podcast, speakingtothecia.com. You have my entire podcast. You don't have to hear little blurps and censors by Jean trying to con people. So anyway, so if you put China and Russia together, it has Iran right in the center. So that's pretty amazing. And China, Iran, and Russia are very significant on the world scene right now. And they're all very wise to what's going on. So that's pretty significant. So anyway, that is the end of this podcast.